It's about time you have an easier, more efficient way to get caught up on the news. The Newsworthy breaks down the day's top stories in less than 15 minutes and gives you some lighter conversation starters along the way. Search The Newsworthy wherever you're listening now and follow or subscribe to The Newsworthy today.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And look at this. It is car con carne, back in the car, back at Buona Beef. We're at Buona in Countryside, 20 West Plainfield Road. We're about to eat Buona. And I should mention, since I'm talking about Buona, the clock's ticking. The holidays are coming up. In fact, they're right here. They're breathing down our neck. And if you still haven't figured out what you're doing for your office party, your house party, your intimate gathering of friends, let Buona take care of everything. They cater, you party. You could try their signature Italian beef as a ready-made sandwich or a side of delicious rigatoni marinara starting at $12.95 per person. $12.95 per person, Tom Higgenson of Plain White Teas.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's what I'm saying. Be a hero this holiday season and feed your guests Buona. In fact, be a hero to yourself. If you want, you can go to Buona anytime and use my promo code CARNE, C-A-R-N-E, 10, and take 10% off your online or app orders. Save money this holiday season. Buy some Plain White Teas merch, some Humans Were Here merch with the savings.
That's a great idea.
Right. Everyone wins. Everyone wins that way. All right. So my guest, that's him. I kind of hinted seconds ago. He is a musician. He's an entrepreneur. He's an indie label owner. He's a Grammy nominee. He's a Tony Award nominee. He's an MTV VMA nominee. He's an AMA nominee, a Teen Choice winner, and a performer on many, many television shows. He's also a product of Chicago's West Suburbs. Perhaps most importantly, I don't know why I buried
That's
the
the
lead.
best part,
Why
of
did I
course.
bury the lead on that?
Yeah,
Why?
right.
He is Tom Higgenson of Plain White Teas. Lovely to see you again. Happy holidays.
Great to see you always. Yeah.
This is lovely.
By the way, that was a great list of achievements, but notice they were all nominee, and I think there was like one win in there somewhere.
I really put the emphasis on Teen Choice winner.
Yes, that's the important one.
That's
Grammys are fine, but it's those Teen Choice Awards that really count.
So we're at Buona, I mentioned, in Countryside, and they have this thing. They have this thing on the menu, the Italian beefless. It's a C10 version of Italian beef, which is phenomenal.
Delicious. As a vegetarian, love it. Love it.
And it's great for people who eat meat and just maybe need to take some time away from meat.
True.
It's a little time to catch up with their bodies. We asked them to make a custom bowl, like carb-free, just put the Italian beefless in a bowl. That's what they made for you.
I'm excited.
And I got you some French fries, too.
Oh,
and a water, because you got to stay hydrated.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
By the way, I love, for people who are just listening to the podcast, you can't see Tom right now. You're wearing what strikes me as a very 80s jacket.
Well, I've got a bit of an 80s...
That's where I was going.
Fascination, obsession, if you will, happening.
This is very Million Miler, what I'm looking at right here.
Exactly. Yeah, you're looking... all I need is a little mustache, and then I would be in full Million Miler vibe, because, that's like my superhero disguise. When I have the mustache, it's like, oh, Million Miler. And then when I shave it, it's like, oh, it's the guy from Plain White Teas.
Well, you can start eating as we're talking. I mean, I don't want you to, let your food get cold.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know, you've got a list of questions over there. I feel like I should be able to speak. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's more fun with food in your mouth. People love to hear musicians eat on microphone.
Wow.
Now,
is that like a fetish of some people?
It is. It started in Osaka, Japan, which is weird. It made its way to the United States. What I got tonight, Tom Higgenson of Plain White Teas, Million Miler, etc. They have pizza specials on Thursday night.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they're like super cheap and they're personal size. I got the Italian beef and giardiniera pizza.
Ooh.
It is so good. And
Very nice.
It's the hot giardiniera. And as previously, holy crap.
Wow, that looks good.
It looks amazing. As previously discussed in this podcast, the giardiniera does not play games. This is the real thing. I think you got hot giardiniera on your custom bowl too.
Perfect.
There we go. The beef and giardiniera pizza. This is honestly one of my favorite things at Buona. And when I realized we were recording on Thursday, I'm like, oh, I'm taking advantage of the pizza special. Why wouldn't I? First, I have to spit out my gum.
When I became a vegetarian way back in 1998.
That long.
The thing that I missed the most, the one, meat item, obviously they've come far lengths in, veggie burgers. Now there's the Beyond and Impossible, right, which are so good. But the one thing that I really miss was Italian beef. That was like the one meat that they haven't done, you know?
For sure.
And so with, Buona doing it, and I'm not even really trying to plug them. It's just a very, very fun thing as a vegetarian because they came out with this like 6 months ago or something. And I've gone to, there was one a little bit closer to me that I've gone to.
We should have gone to that one.
Times.
Sorry.
No, this is perfect. But I'm just excited that I get to actually, get that taste and that Italian beef vibe again. It's nice.
I think Buona doesn't realize they've tapped into something here. I had Scott Lucas of Local H in the car last week. He also vegetarian, loves the Italian beefless. I have another guest who'll be announced soon, coming next month. Local musician. He's like, oh yeah, we got to get the Italian beefless. So there's a thing there. I don't know if they should do like band catering.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But you're a guy who's spent many years traveling the country in a van, close quarters, eating bad food.
Absolutely.
It's
Which is why I don't have the bread tonight. Because
Right.
I'm,
It's hard to be healthy when you're on the road, isn't it?
It is very hard, yeah. Even like, so the T's have been playing kind of Weekend Warrior stuff since July. We've been, lucky enough to get back out there after obviously a crazy year and a half of, just doing nothing and adapting and, doing little Wednesday night Facebook lives and whatnot, So yeah, but honestly, getting back out on the road, it's impossible to like eat healthy, because you're at the mercy of, whatever few block radius your hotel's at or the venue's at or whatever. So yeah, it's really a challenge. So that's why being home, I always enjoy my home time, but the eating part of it is especially nice. I do a lot of home cooking as well.
If you slide it up the dash, there you go.
Nice.
And can you show that to the camera? This is custom made for Tom
This
of Plain
looks
White Tees.
Amazing. So let's see. Yeah, they
Tilt
can
it a
see
little bit. Yeah.
So, it's gonna drip. It's
It
very
is.
wet.
It is very wet.
So it's a cheesy, beefless Italian beef bowl, which apparently they don't do. So thank you, Buona Beef, for making it for me. And
looks great.
And there's some mozzarella in there as well.
That looks great. And you can just imagine if that had been served on bread,
Oh, my
that bread would have just been
just so
sponge-like, soaking that all up.
Yeah.
So we're recording this on the 16th of December. Like I said, happy holidays. It's that time of year. This coming Sunday, if you're watching, if you're listening, anytime before Sunday, you've got an event happening.
I'm doing a big show. Yeah, so as you mentioned earlier, I started a record label a couple years ago called Humans Were Here. And last year, because of the pandemic, we were forced to just start doing things virtual and staying connected with people however we could. So last Christmas, we did this Christmas show where we just, all the artists, because it was still kind of COVID, so we kept it really, really safe, did kind of one artist at a time, and we taped some performances. And then we did this almost like you'd see on, a network channel, like, some Christmas spectacular, and they have all these performances. So we kind of did our own little indie version of that. And sold tickets online for $15 to our fans and followers and stuff, and people just loved it. It was really fun and kind of like necessary.
Oh yeah.
For people. And so because it was so fun last year, and because even though Plain White Tees are kind of getting out there a little bit and playing, most of our other artists are not yet. I know you talked to One Life a few weeks ago, and they did that one show with Lucky Boys. But there's not really a lot happening still for the smaller artists. So we decided to do it again, and yeah, so we're kind of like, that's what I was just doing earlier. We're doing a little group Christmas song, and
amazing.
So we're all, of course, filming it from our own homes, and phoning it in, and like, is this work? Is this vocal sound good enough, and everything? So yeah, I was just kind of helping put that together before coming here to meet you. So yeah, gearing up for Sunday's show. It's going to be really, really fun and great spirits. And yeah, all the artists are going to be performing, and yeah, I'll be hosting it, and we're doing a bunch of giveaways and little trivia things, giving away some t-shirts, sweatshirts, and stuff. So
I love that.
If you're interested, humanswerehere.com. You can check out what I've been doing and all the artists and stuff, and you can also get a ticket to Sunday's virtual live event.
That's fantastic. And you said it. I mean, everything shut down. You had to kind of find a way to innovate around the mess that was last year. And there are certain things we've learned and seen and done over the past year and a half, 2 years, that I think are worth carrying forward into the future. And I think events like this, there's value in that. Yes, we can go see the Tees play live. Yes, we can see these other bands play live, like One Life. But there's still something special about being able to sit in your home, apartment, a restaurant, watching on a phone, and just be connected to that and be entertained.
Dude,
because
how about
network
as
television's
an artist
over.
too, by the way?
Absolutely.
It's pretty amazing to like...
I'm taking the fans' perspective. But
Yeah, you know, it's kind of been nice to just be able to sit in my living room and still stay connected to everybody, you know?
This is the eating part. This is the part you were worried about. I wasn't worried. This is delicious, by the way. This pizza is... If you were not vegetarian, you would love this.
I mean, it looks amazing. I wonder, do you think they do that with the fake meat or the meatless meat?
I don't know. Because that would be good, too.
That'd be crazy.
And I love giardiniera. And that's how you know you're a Midwesterner.
I was gonna say, do you know that they don't do giardiniera
No.
outside of like in California?
And
or
you've got
anything
the
like
authentic voice, too. You called it giardiniera.
that? Giardiniera.
That's the Villa Park coming. You could take the boy out of Villa Park. But it's always giardiniera.
Giardiniera. Well, I believe it technically has an A at the end, but I've never heard it pronounced like that, so I don't know.
All right, so Humans were here. Let's talk about some of these artists. Since we started talking about One Life, let's talk about them. They don't smile in their publicity shots.
No,
Covered
that would be ridiculous.
It'd be a betrayal.
So yeah, One Life. I mean, personally, that's just like I geek out over One Life. They are. I mean, you know their history, but anybody out there that may not, they were literally a band in the scene, in the Chicago scene, for a blink of an eye. In the early 2000s, and they came from other bands like Close Enough and Morningside Drive. I'm probably forgetting somebody. Oh, Backdrop. And it was like a super group, and they were so good. And they had these, it's like this wall, everybody's singing, everybody's playing guitar. It's like this wall of sound, but it's legit. And they're all playing like these guitar harmonies and, singing like 5-part harmonies and shit. It's crazy. And then they like broke up for some reason. It was very sad because we were all friends and everything, and they all stayed friends. They just like did other projects and stuff. And so, but they never put any music out. And so I had these demos just kicking around all these years that I was still listening to all the time, and just still like legitimately my favorite band from the scene. Well, I shouldn't say that because I love, Lucky Boys, and I'm like a sappy guy. I love all that stuff, and especially yeah, please.
We're recording in Countryside, Illinois. I realize you have fans who are not from our area, so we're being very local here. But we're talking about the Chicago and the suburban scene.
Good point. Yep. Definitely a very Chicago, a tight knit scene of bands and friends here. But yeah, One Life. It was just like that amazing lightning in a bottle that just burned out so fast for whatever reason. So. Point is, cut to about a year and a half ago, like right before the pandemic, and like I said, I'm still friends with these guys, and we were just kind of talking like, man, it sucks that music never got released, and the world never got to hear it because it's so damn good. And so I had the idea, because I had started the label and stuff. I'm like, what if we just make a record and put it out, and you guys just play a couple shows and see what happens. And so they're like, hell yeah. And we're about halfway done recording the greatest hits that never came out yet. But yeah, there's one song out now on Spotify, I Never Wanted,
which this is a melodic song, but it's got an edge.
It's like borderline metal, but it's also pop. It's almost like if you mixed Iron Maiden and like Jimmy Eat World. That's kind of how I love it. I picture it, or I describe it.
Cool lead guitar licks on that one. The drumming on it is insane.
Oh yeah,
it's a great.
And Ryan's voice is it's like melts me. He's so good. It's got this deep, just there's something very primal about his voice, but still really like breathy and like cool. Like it's not like, I don't know. Very unique, but very, very beautiful voice.
Yeah, fantastic band. And speaking of putting out new music, we talked about the Christmas thing that you're doing, the holiday thing you're doing on Sunday. It has just been a torrent, a flood of holiday music coming from Humans Were Here.
Well, Million Miler has basically taken over the label for the past month or so, which is my 80s solo project. We kind of talked about that earlier with my awesome jacket that you guys can't see. But yeah, so Million Miler, I decided to put out this song called, can I swear on this? Can I swear?
If you're going to talk about what the fuck happened to 2021, yes.
That's the one, yeah. So I have this song, and I'm like, I got to put this out now because it's just...
Yeah, clock's ticking.
Yeah, exactly. And by the time I recorded it, it was already like 2 months later somehow. That's how fast this year is going by, I feel like. So, yeah, I had this song called What the Fuck Happened to 2021, which is not a Christmas song, but it's an end of the year song. I feel like it'll be...
I'm just living life, trying to have a good time.
Yeah. How is this year almost done? What the fuck happened to 2021, right? I feel like a lot of people can relate to that one.
For real, it got to be Thanksgiving last month. I'm like, wait, that's not right.
Dude, totally. Don't you kind of feel like 2020 and 2021 was like the length of 1 year?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But, so anyway.
2020 was a double album. This year was like a 7-inch.
Yeah, I agree.
It's bizarre.
Right. Yeah, because at the beginning of the pandemic, like March and April of last year, felt like it was about 6 or 7 months, just in those 2 months.
This is never ending, and we're all going to die.
Yep.
Holy crap.
And then all of a sudden, it was just like fast forward to like today somehow.
Right. And here we are. And this song, this Million Miler song, it's cheery, it's synthy. I mean, I love the aesthetic there.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I've got to... Basically, every song just has to feel like it came from 1985. Even if I'm talking about 2021, it still feels like it's a blast from the past.
It makes me want to play Centipede.
Hell yeah, that's the idea.
Or Galaga, or Zaxxon.
Sure.
I mean, anything at Galloping Ghost.
You can get into Nintendo a little bit with it, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
But no further than Sega. Sega is like the...
That's a hard line.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. All right, so Million Miler had monopolized. Humans were here.
And I put out 2 music videos, and just 2 days ago put out a cover of Last Christmas, which is already an 80s song, but I had to go full synth with it. It's a little bit like that, like a harder synthwave version of Last Christmas.
Which I love. And for the video, you use an image. Is that a little Tom by the tree?
Yes.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so last Christmas I put out a Christmas song called Miracle, which was definitely also relatable. It's funny because there's so much to write about with these times. It's kind of sad, but I guess good for inspiration. I feel like people do need a little bit of a release or just somebody that is talking about the moment because it is pretty messed up. So, but anyway, yeah. So my grandma had this old photo album that I hadn't seen since I was a kid. And so I was like flipping through it and it was like, oh my God, there's these awesome Christmas photos. And so it was like I was putting out this Christmas song last year and it was like, well, duh, just take one of these photos because it's, the vibe of the project is 80s and these photos are literally from the 80s. So yeah, that was the album cover for last year's Christmas single. And then, yeah, this year when I was doing Last Christmas, it was like, cool, back to that photo album. There's got to be another good one. Pretty funny. And yeah, I have like stockings on or something. It's like I don't know what the hell I'm wearing.
Adorable.
Yeah, thanks Mom for whatever my I don't know, whatever the hell she had me in back then.
I want to go down the holiday road since we're talking about it. But before we get there, since we're talking about Million Miler and the aesthetic and the 80s, did that all kind of start that interest? Did that kind of kick off with Parallel Universe?
So Parallel Universe. Okay, so I'll give you the. I've always been an 80s guy, Michael Jackson, Pat Benatar, Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, all that stuff has always just been big influences to me because that's what I grew up just, my mom was always blasting that stuff in the house. But over the past, I guess at this point, 5 or 6 years, with Stranger Things coming out, obviously that was a huge, that kind of brought the 80s back full circle for the whole world, I think.
Sure.
But then beyond that, there was one step above that. There's this bar in LA that I literally stumbled into with a friend. We were just looking for a place to grab a drink and catch up. And we entered this bar that's called Break Room 86. And it's it's literally like walking into like a bar scene in a John Hughes movie. It's just done so well. I don't even want to bother trying to explain it because
I think you just did.
I mean, yeah, it's you are in a different world when you walk into this bar, and they're just blasting nothing but 80s hits, loud as hell. You know, it's like a bar, like a club PA
sold
in this little shitty dive bar, and people are dancing, and it's just the craziest, most fun spot in the world. And so and after going there the second time, I found out that there's a cover band that plays there on Wednesday nights called the Good Time Boys. And they have become literally like one of my favorite bands of all time because they're like, they do these like garage rock. They're like these LA hipster dudes that play these like garage rock versions of 80s classics.
Oh.
And it's the coolest shit you've ever heard in your life. And it's so fun, and everybody dances, and it's just like everybody I take there, it's like the best night of your life every time you go. It's so fun. So I was like, yeah, I need to frickin' tap into this, like, this 80s, you know, thing that's happening in my soul, you know? And so, yeah, on the Plain White T's latest album, which came out in 2018, Parallel Universe, we kind of, you know, dabbled a little bit with some of those synth tones.
Like
and you
Top
know,
of the World.
Yeah, Top of the World is a great example.
I love that one.
Thank you, yeah. But I feel like it was like, okay, we took it to a point where we're like, we can't really go all the way with this because we're still the Plain White T's, and we have a brand that seems to work for us and connect, you know, which is what you want as an artist. You know, you want to connect with people. So
tell me about that brand. Have you done anything I've heard?
Well, well, we have. You know, if you've been to a dentist's office or a you know, Kohl's lately, you probably have. You probably have heard us. But yeah, so that's, you know, as far as we could take it with the T's. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just dial the T's back a little bit to the acoustic, you know, band that people love or hate, or either way. But, you know, people that love us, they love us because of our raw, you know, more acoustic love songs.
And your raw charisma.
Well, obviously, you can't forget the charisma. But so I decided to start Million Miler, a solo project completely dedicated to that nostalgic feel of the 80s synth rock.
Million Miler to me is the sound of a songwriter having fun.
Yeah, I like that.
And you answered a question before I even asked it. With the label, with Million Miler, it seems like there are so many expectations and so many emotions tied up with Plain White T's. You kind of have to keep going that course, and so this is a way for you to scratch all those issues.
Exactly. Yeah, it kind of because that is our, you know, it's become our job at this point, of course. So yeah, you can't really, not that we don't have fun with it still, of course we do, but there's something about there's a little bit of an added pressure, an added expectation there. Whereas when you are just making music like we did back when we started the band, or, you know, back in high school, where it's just like, man, we just love playing music and that's all that mattered. You know, there's something kind of magical about that when you can tap into that. And yeah, that's what Million Miler does for me.
And speaking of that, how is it that Penny still holds up? It really does.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I love that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's, you know, we just played that.
I noticed, and I'm like, oh, it sounds great.
Yeah, it was very, we threw it in, one of our buddies always requests that song. And so he was at the show we just played in, it was in Naperville at Pfeiffer Hall at North Central College.
Okay.
And he was in the crowd, and we started kind of playing it, just kind of messing around, and we just kept going, and we ended up playing the whole song. So yeah. Pretty fun.
I love that. Okay, so going back to...
So you can still have fun, even though it's our job, you know?
Well,
it's great. Pretty lucky to do what we do,
That's what I was going to say, Tom. This is the American dream.
Yeah.
You're living it.
Yeah.
And being able to create your own label and find bands that you're into and find ways to get people to hear them, that's awesome.
It is super awesome. And yeah, of course, like anything... I've got a lot of friends. You know my friend Darren Varel, he's the singer of TLB, and he just moved to LA to be... He's painting full time, making art. And it's like, it's so amazing that he's able to do that and sustain himself, that's also the dream. It's like, oh,
Absolutely.
you can't do that. You can't be a painter. You can't be an artist. Well, yeah, you can.
Sure you can.
But the point is like we've got to remind each other sometimes, like, hey, don't forget to enjoy it.
Right.
Because because it's our jobs. Even though it's something that we love, you can easily fall into that. Like even today before I came, I was stressing out trying to get this Christmas show together for Sunday. So it's like, yeah, there's still a little bit of stress. There's still, all of that stuff that comes with, any job you have. But you're right. At the end of the day, it's like we're doing something that we love, and we're very lucky to be doing that. So
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes you just have to remember that, and then you can, breathe a little easier,
That teenage boy I saw on stage at Metro.
Oh, yeah.
Is here now following a course that he laid for himself. That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm still, still stalking bands and finding new bands that I love. And, the new Loud Lucy for me is 100 Gex. Have you heard them yet? Oh, my God, dude.
I'm glad we're talking.
They're going to change music for sure.
Tell me why, because I'm wondering where music is going to next.
So they are... I don't even know how to describe it. I think the description is hyperpop. So it's electronic, but it's very punk. It's very like don't give a fuck, but also very catchy as hell and
So
done
some
really
of the
well.
swagger and the attitude.
The attitude is just 100% don't care. It's like, a couple kids with their laptops, but it's the fucking coolest shit you've ever heard. And it's also very like I don't know how you feel about Skrillex. I love Skrillex, and especially when he came out, it was like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
I've never heard music like this. And that's why it's so important, in my opinion, because it's like, kind of like when Nirvana came out or when the Beatles came out. It's like nobody was doing it like that.
Surprised me.
Yeah, exactly. And so I heard 100 Gex, and it's a little off-putting at times because they didn't go in and fix it, because it's just left like intentionally shitty, but so good. I don't know. So you got to check them out. They're amazing. And I believe it's two singers. I believe one of the singers is a trans girl, and I believe she's from Chicago.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Which I didn't realize until I was kind of Wikipediaing it, and I was like, oh man, Chicago, hell yeah. No wonder they're so good.
This is a good Car Con Carne tip.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you eat so I can read a quick message.
Okay, go for it.
Again, holidays are next week. Christmas is here. And you're going to be scrambling. It's so hard to buy something for everyone, the people in the office, the people in your family. Get your holiday shopping done the easy way. Buy a $25 Buona gift card. You could buy it in store. You could buy it online. And you can get a free $5 bonus card. Now, Tom, this is how I like to do Christmas shopping. This is whether I'm buying on Amazon or buying Buona gift cards. One for me, one for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help myself. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm going on, let's say, Humans Were Here. It's like, okay, record for me, hoodie for you. That's the pro move, right?
I love that, yeah. That's a great idea.
All right, so back to Humans Were Here. I'm going to try to talk slowly. The giardiniera really does make...
It's so good.
And what you basically have there is a really delicious soup, because you've got that kind of the beefless gravy mixing with the oil of the giardiniera. It's delightful. That'll clear your sinuses. That's medicinal, I think. I think Buona will tell you that.
Very good.
All right, so the Humans Were Here Christmas show is happening on Sunday the 19th. Started to talk about some of the holiday music that's been trickling in. Teased did Winter Wonderland. I also will say TLB just put out one of my favorite songs we've ever done called Christmas Spirits, all about having a lot of drinks for the holidays. So for the eggnog enthusiasts, TLB has you covered.
Absolutely.
That's another itch you scratch, too.
What, TLB?
Yeah. Because you do the drums for
I
that.
started as a drummer before even learning how to play guitar or writing songs. So, and as you know, the T's started a little bit more punk rock. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it kind of exactly the way you said it, an itch,
Scratching an itch.
Scratching an itch. Yeah, I play drums with TLB with my one of my best friends, Darren, who's that artist guy we were talking about earlier, and just write a bunch of. He went through a really shitty breakup. And so we just started writing songs about it. And
bad for him, great for music.
Exactly. Exactly. Turn a negative into a positive, So yeah, TLB.
And we haven't talked about the other artist. We've been holding them back Fairview.
Fairview, yes, which you've had on the podcast.
Yes, Matt and Lizzie.
Thank you.
They're delightful.
Matt and Lizzie are so awesome.
They
some of
don't
the
seem real.
right.
Like it seems like they can't be that positive and that into each other, and it seems almost like Hollywood.
Right, like you're waiting for them to like break character or like be assholes, and they never are. They're the nicest, most amazing people that I know, and it's a pleasure when you're doing something like we're doing with our label that is all grind and there's no reward yet. Obviously we all see the big picture, and we know.
Right.
I know from experience with the Tees that you follow a dream long enough and great things can happen. And so grinding it out in these early stages with artists, it gets shitty. It gets rough, to keep a positive attitude. And yeah, Fairview, I can't say enough good things about them as people, as artists.
Talk about pop smarts.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, and they're all over TikTok. They're doing exactly what the young artists need to be doing right now, and they're killing it like from every angle.
Killing it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you saw when I had Fairview on, this is maybe a year or so ago, Matt talked about the first time, maybe it was the first time he met you.
Okay.
You walked into the grocery store he was working at.
Oh yeah.
And he absolutely flipped out. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe Tom Higgenson shops or buys groceries where I work.
Well, what's funny is I mentioned earlier, and you and I go way back to me calling Q101 and trying to get some Loud Lucy info or something. But when I love a band, I get crazy about them, And Matt from Fairview, when I met him in those early days, he reminded me a lot of me, because he was like a big fan, and you could tell he was geeking out, but he was also really just laid back and really cool and natural. And yeah, he really did. He reminded me of a young me. So I was instantly like, oh man, I like this kid. And then when I finally heard him and Lizzie's songs, I was like, wait a minute, they're actually pretty damn good, So then I started working with them, and
serendipity.
Yeah, it was perfect.
I love that. So, do they have a holiday song?
They have. Last year we put out a song called "Meet Me Under the Mistletoe,"
right?
Which I don't know how it hasn't been licensed for every Hallmark commercial this year. Yeah, we're working on that. We're still developing the label. We need some some licensing. We need a licensing team.
It is a grind.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. As you know, just going back to my own, with the Plain White Tees, we were on Fearless back in the day when we first released Hey There Delilah. And
that's the song I was trying to think of.
And Fearless, was a much, they were a pretty established indie label at the time. And I think we sold, 80,000 copies of that song and that record on Fearless. And to them, that was unthinkable. That was the biggest deal in the world. And then obviously we went up to a major, and we were able to sell, whatever it is, 5 million and counting of the same exact product. Yeah. So that just shows you from Fearless to Hollywood, the difference there.
It's crazy.
So now with Humans Were Here, we're not even close to where Fearless was when we were on them back in the day. So it really is just starting from scratch, pretty much. But you know what? I kind of like that. I like getting my hands dirty.
What's your relationship like with Hey There Delilah? Obviously, it brought you to the dance, so to speak.
Totally. No, I love it. I think it's. I still think it's a great song. I'm very proud of it. Love playing it every night because, when you pick up your guitar as a 15-year-old, that's what you dream of, right? You dream of writing some song or playing some song in front of a crowd that loves it and sings along. And, whatever I tapped into with Hey There Delilah, that's the dream. So yeah, I have a great relationship with that song. I'm very still proud of it, still love it.
And you should be. And tangentially, I'd say 1 out of every 3 times I walk in the front door of my house and my dog greets me, I do say, "Hey there, dog Lila."
Ah, I like that. Hey there, dog Lila.
Yeah.
Not bad. I never thought of that one.
It's just it's so ingrained in all of our heads and minds, it just finds ways to manifest in our everyday existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is everywhere, like you said, Kohl's.
Yeah, Kohl's.
When you're spending your Kohl's cash.
I mean, I'm sure Buona Beef.
I'm sure
plays in there once in a
I
while.
bet it's playing right now.
It could be.
It could be playing right now. All right, so this Sunday the 19th, yes, that is the date for the...
Humans Were Here.
I was looking for an official title.
Christmas.
Humans Were Here, yes.
I don't know if we have an official title. The
Were-
Christmas Extravaganza.
Which is awesome. And, nice night, hanging out, have a cold beverage, warm beverage.
From the comfort of your own home.
Which is the best. And will you be interacting with people?
Oh yeah. We'll be all over the YouTube comments, and like I said, even doing giveaways and stuff.
That's so great.
Giving away, T-shirts, sweatshirts, probably some vinyl. But you do need to buy a ticket. Humanswerehere.com to buy a ticket for $15. But also, we're also doing this thing with mystery bags, where you get a bunch of swag for a ridiculously low price, and you also get a free ticket to the
I love when
holiday
bands do
show.
that.
Yeah,
Basically, give you a T-shirt size and roll the dice.
exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun. Okay, so that's happening on Sunday, which is going to be super cool. You talked about vinyl. When the Tees started, vinyl was on its way out. Here we are in 2021, and you're
I'm
pressing
ringing.
vinyl.
I have to silence my thing.
Is it Darren?
I don't know. I'm not going to even bother
Okay.
looking. So sorry. So the Tees were, vinyl was out.
Like
And
you're,
now-
you're at the end of it, and now
Yeah.
here you are pressing
Oh, yeah.
vinyl for your artists.
Oh yeah. Well, because okay, go ahead. What were you?
Well, I guess the question is, how important is that to the strategy? I'm guessing that that's where a lot of the money is made right now.
I mean, for sure, but it's also for me, it's more like I like vinyl, so like I want to have this awesome album that I just made with my artist on vinyl. I'm thinking of it much more selfishly than business wise.
Why not?
Right? I mean, I'm gonna sign One Life and make put a bunch of money
That
and
band
and
needs
time.
to be on vinyl.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I mean, are they gonna, I don't know, are they gonna, I shouldn't even limit them because yes, of course they're going to be the biggest band in the world, but it doesn't matter if they really become that because I think they are.
Yeah.
And I love them, so I want their record.
There's nothing not to understand about One Life.
Right.
You hear them like, oh, I get
Dude,
this.
totally. Yeah, I get pissed off because people in my circle are like, oh my God, One Life. I like One Life. One Life's my favorite band on the label. I'm like, what about Million Miler? What about TLB? But no, yeah, people just across the board, even people you wouldn't expect because, like you said, they are a little bit harder, almost bordering on metal sometimes. But yeah, people you wouldn't expect. Like my mom was like, oh my God, they're so good.
Get out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So vinyl's here to stay.
I think so. Also because everything's digital now, so it's like you either have it on your phone or you have the physical copy. And I mean, what do you want to hold? What do you want to touch? What do you want to,
And I'll tell you, I don't know if you're the same way. When I'm listening to music in my car off my phone, I can't sit still for the whole song. I'm always advancing tracks. I'm bouncing around. There is something to putting on a record.
You can't. You just have to sit through.
Yeah, you're not re-queuing the tracks. You're letting
You're
it
not
go for
skipping
20
a
minutes.
song. Yep,
And
totally.
It's more immersive. And yeah, I love record shopping. I love buying new records. I love ordering them. I just love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to literally get up and interact with it halfway through.
And there's that. My grandmother was an antique collector. There's that thrill of acquisition, which I think she passed on to me. Mm-hmm. Like that genetic thing where if I see something that I've been looking for a while, it's a thrill. It's like a bolt of electricity.
Well, it's like the Goonies, man. It's like the rich stuff, the treasure. Whenever you find something like that, you feel as though you need it because it fills that whatever that spirit of adventure inside you. That's how it is for me.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, do you collect vinyl because you're one of those people who thinks it just sounds better? No, I'm a music fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like collecting music.
For me, yeah, it sounds different, certainly, which is nice. But again, the experience of it, you have to take it out. You've got to put it on. You've got to, there's a process that you have to go through to get your music, and I think that is just makes a more valuable experience out of it.
Now, if Million Miler were truly a band that came up in the 1980s, those records would be really flimsy.
Oh, totally.
Because any of those
But-
records pressed back then.
But they also still would sound, amazing,
100%.
to this day. The ones now are like, Jesus, you
These are
couldn't
built
even
to last,
break
yeah.
them, yeah. And half of them, half the, new vinyl or it's like one little scratch and now you're screwed on them. I feel like those old ones, whatever they made them with, probably a bunch of chemicals that were toxic, but they still hold up, 30 years later.
All right, so Tom, this is happening on Sunday night, the Extravaganza, the holiday show Extravaganza, with Humans Were Here, all the artists. You mentioned that the Tees are kind of weekend warriors at this point. Will that change in 2022?
Well, we definitely just recorded a brand new song, which we're going to put out early 2022.
Okay.
And
Because as you mentioned, the last album was 2018.
yeah, which, you kind of can't count the last couple years.
Fair
'cause,
All this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been writing and stuff, but also kind of indulging in my Million Miler, my 80s obsessions.
Going
there.
down the synth rabbit hole.
Exactly. But yeah, so Plain White Tees just recorded, as you mentioned, we just put out Winter Wonderland for the holidays, which was really fun to get in with the guys and record that. But yeah, just recorded a brand new Plain White Tees song that we're going to release early next year, January or February, and just continue chipping away and have a new album done and out, knock on wood, by fall of next year.
I love it. Humans Were Here is the label. Plain White Tees, Million Miler, the bands we're talking about, One Life,
TLB, Fairview. Yeah.
Your plate is full.
Yeah.
Your bowl is full.
My bowl is full.
All right, Tom Higgenson, thank you for doing this. Lovely to see you again.
Great to see you always. Thanks for having me, and thanks for dinner.
Thank you, Buona, and thank you for watching and listening. This is Car Con Carne. That's Tom.